All right, everyone, welcome to our talk here on AI is only human. I have my colleague Andreas with me here, and we will be giving you some insights into our thinking on AI transformation, how that can happen in your organization. Andreas, you want to say something about you?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Michael. A warm welcome from my side. I'm an associate partner here at Timmermann, focusing on digital and AI transformations and supporting clients around the globe in different industries to get them AI ready and get the best value out of it.
Yes, and I'm Michael Timmermann, the founder and CEO of Timmermann. We are one of the leading providers of transformation and change services, and one of our main topics is AI transformations. And I'm really glad that we have some minutes together to dive into one of the favorite topics of mine. All right, let's get started. So when you look at this, if you're honest, you will find that you're behind on AI already, and you may not even know it. The reason for that being that there is so much potential in AI transformation and in the technology, that you very likely have not used that yet. And also, there are organizations who are already on an AI first level of the transformation, meaning that they are even AI native in nature. They started with an AI setup, or they are moving towards AI as a standard answer to most of the processes and issues that an organization can have with their customers. And only organizations that redesign themselves around AI will survive in the age of AI. That's what a fundamental transformation this actually is. Do that and set the standards in efficiency, customer experience, and resilience, and you'll be tremendously successful. So start now, systematically, with quick wins and a bold vision, and we'll give you some inspiration for that in this talk. So here's an example from the banking industry. Right Bank from Malaysia is an AI native organization that has defined itself around a digital banking experience for its customers, but with an AI first mandate, meaning that the processes, the systems, but also the interaction with customers is mainly AI based. Wherever possible, and AI is already technology wise far enough developed, they use AI. So what that means, here are a couple examples for AI applications in organizations. One is AI manages most processes. So you have onboarding, personalization, risk assessment for customers, credit decisions, etc., done by AI. Personalization on a large scale is something that AI can really help with. So it's not only your standard 0101 logic tree that leads you, like in a call center, leads you to a certain position in the process, but it's actually having a live conversation that has never happened in the history of the world before and will never happen again, because it's truly individualized and personalized. And AI can also take care of IT architecture. It knows more about this and how to set this up than humans usually do. At least it can work with humans to create the best there. End-to-end automation is something that AI can really do, and we'll have a deep dive later with Andreas on that topic. And integrated workflows really come to life with AI, like for a bank in a sales and risk department. The cross-functional setup of that really works only with AI. So looking at Right Bank a little more deeply, there are partners that they work with, and we totally recommend doing that. You don't need to reinvent the wheel for all of AI integration and usage. So for example, Provenir AI is the provider for Right Bank as a partner for credit risk assessment and personalized offers. So this whole setup that Right Bank is doing is not something created from scratch. But also they develop their own technology, standing on the shoulders of giants, other organizations and their technologies, like with Right AI. So there's an AI assistant for personalized interactions with customers, with text, voice, and images. And also they do continuous learning with an AI platform that continuously adapts to market changes and improves its decisions based on the feedback it gets from the market and the numbers that result from the processes. Well, is all lost now? I would say no. So for organizations that are already established, they do have a little bit of time coming from the fact that they have brand loyalty. So 9% of customers change their main banking account each year. Only 9%. That will pick up in the future, but it's only 9%. So there is some brand loyalty and some barriers to actually changing your bank. But also in other industries, there is some loyalty. There's also inertia. So only 1% of your competitors consider their company to be AI ready. And only 16% of companies have scaled AI initiatives. Leapfrogging is also something that you can do. So if you're behind on the development, you may want to take 3 steps at once, while others have taken each step at a time because they were the pioneers. That doesn't mean that we recommend waiting, but it means that even if you feel like you're already behind, you don't need to give up. So for example, 79% of Kenyans use M-Pesa for banking. That is due to the very high number of cell phones that people have there, and landline phones people don't have in Kenya, but they have a very high usage of cell phones, meaning that the first bank account that Kenyans get in many cases is a mobile bank account that works through their phone only. And M-Pesa is one of the providers for that. That is a leading solution also in other countries in Africa. There is a necessary AI development. So AI needs some time to really get to the next stage of artificial general intelligence. We'll learn a little bit more about that later. But the thing I want to point out is that according to scientific studies, meta-analyses say 25 years is the time that that's going to take. Now, I think that's rather on the high side, my personal opinion, and I'm siding with the Silicon Valley players who basically say it's about 5 years, maybe even faster if we have a surprising breakthrough. There is some time, but you need to act now. 92% of companies want to invest in AI in the next 3 years. And I think 100% won't get around would get around that. You really need to do that. And you should not wait for year 3. You need to do it now. So let's look at this development that AI will go through and what that means for organizations and how they will evolve into AI-first organizations in 3 stages. Now, currently, most organizations are at the beginning of enabling themselves to deal with AI. An AI-enabled organization is what they want to become. AI development is also in that stage right now, but a little further already along, meaning artificial narrow intelligence is available. That means AI performs tasks according to predefined rules and is able to take over certain steps in processes that normally humans would do, and that AI can do better, faster, and more efficient now. The way that humans play a role in this is more a user and also a reviewer of what the AI does. AI is basically a tool. And what you need to do to succeed in this stage is to standardize your processes, to digitize a lot. You don't necessarily need AI all the time. Digitalization already goes a long way. And then in those processes where a benefit comes from AI, you need to boldly integrate that and need to promote the AI skills and acceptance among the people in your organization. Now, in the next stage, an AI integrated organization, you will, on the technology side, have artificial general intelligence that is needed to reap the full benefits of that stage. You can already move towards an AI integrated organization. Don't get me wrong. You can also be an AI first organization like Right Bank without getting to artificial superintelligence, which we'll talk about in a minute. But you can't reap the full benefits yet without the technology being far along enough. And the thing is, with artificial general intelligence, you get AI to solve problems independently and apply knowledge across domains, leading to AI being as good as the best humans in any discipline that benefits from high intelligence. So the best human will be as good as the best AI, and that is artificial general intelligence. What happens then in an organization is that value creation, structures, and processes are adapted to AI, and the human role changes to being a process designer and a feedback provider, not so much the person really doing things so much. And AI really becomes a team member. You need to work with AI in a team. And this is the next step you really need to have in mind already, and not only enable people in using tools, because then you're stuck in the first stage. Dabbling with AI tools is not an AI transformation. Mind my words, that's not enough. And the success levers in the second stage are to design processes end to end, because AI will help you really use the magic of end to end processes. And AI is only really used in its potential if processes are designed end to end. You need to be customer centric and cross functional in your setup, and you need to drive data and IT integration, because that's what AI is built on. Now, if you want to move from artificial narrow intelligence to AGI, you need to use new technologies. So that means new heuristics are going to be necessary. Right now, AI is based on one algorithm that looks how words and the concepts thereof are associated, how close they are to each other, like a chicken and another animal are closely related compared to a chicken and a car, right? So that's the one algorithm we have right now. Currently, a lot of institutions are working on creating other heuristics, the way that thinking is actually done, true thinking, true creativity, and thereby we will move to AGI. Now, the next step after AGI is getting to ASI, meaning artificial superintelligence. That means that AI surpasses human intelligence and makes strategic decisions autonomously. So AI is not as good as the best human, but it's actually better in those areas where it's about intelligence. And that means for organizations that they need to use AI by default because it's just smarter and more efficient, with humans only being used in specific cases. And one of the cases is to have the human interface that we as biological human beings really want in many cases. And we don't even want the smartest partner on the other side. We want a biological organism, right? So that's an example. And what really is the human role beyond that is to be an ethical designer for the AI that sets the boundaries and the processes and helps with that. And AI is basically the co-designer of processes and also a delivery machine basically for the main services that an organization provides. The success levers here for an organization are strengthening the adaptability of the system because it's going to move so fast, and also to design decisions ethically. So if you want to technologically move from AGI to ASI, you need a lot of changes. One of them being quantum computing. So there's a lot of potential there to help ASI to be developed, because so much fewer resources are needed to actually do the calculations with quantum computing. And the magic there is that currently we don't have the resources to really use the power of AI. Data centers are built all over the place. It has a huge impact on lots of industries right now, but we can't even cope with the demand in the market yet. So, Andreas, what does that mean for the concrete areas in an organization, what they need to change over time?
Indeed. This might sound very overwhelming for some of the organizations. And we ask ourselves, is there maybe a hidden recipe of how organizations can benefit of the different stages of AI? So we conducted a worldwide analysis of organizations applying different levels and stages of AI. And we asked these organizations, what were the changes in your operating model along the strategy, along structure, process, people, and technology that you as an organization conducted in order to benefit from AI? So if you're a decision leader in your organization, the next few minutes might be very relevant for you to see what you have to adapt in your organization to benefit from AI. In this first step, the AI-enabled organizations, where you put superpowers to people, so where AI is a tool that people, team members can use, you typically just change two parts of your organizations. You implement a tooling, typically an AI tooling, and you have to train your talent and capabilities to ensure that people adopt the new AI tooling. The questions that you should ask yourself is, where is the largest AI value opportunities within your organization? Is it typically summarizing documents? Is it writing emails? Is it maybe coding? So where you can use AI as a tool to provide superpowers to people. The second stage, and I think this is the most relevant stage for many of the organizations, as most of you most probably already piloted some tools or maybe even scaled some tools. But the question is now how you can evolve further from piloting single tools to really changing the whole organization to provide superpowers to teams. And there we identified that not only the people and technology needs to get adapted, but also that a structural change needs to get conducted in order to get the full potential of AI. The same for processes. The end-to-end processes and structural setup is getting more and more important the higher you get into the AI space, so to say. So what can you do now as an organizational leader? You can organize around end-to-end value creation, end-to-end processes and value streams, where you then apply AI to automate this value creation. Don't let the organization become the bottleneck, because AI is much faster than any human can be in the moment. Also here you can ask yourself questions like, what are the typical use cases in your organization that really drive value? How you create value on the customer side. Also, culture is getting more important as you scale AI across different teams and maybe also different organizational units. What kind of leadership, what kind of culture and people model do you want to have in your organization? And what culture do you need in your organization in order to benefit from these AI values? And in the last stage, it's really a reimagination of the whole organization, including what is your purpose? What are your priorities? If you provide now superpowers to the entire organization as an AI-first organization, you should also tap into an ecosystem, as Michael said before. The most successful organizations that have an AI-first mindset tap into a broad ecosystem and partner with various partners around the globe, be it now technological companies or others, to get the latest technology. Also here, you can ask yourself, if innovation had no marginal cost, so if you can implement or introduce new products without any additional costs, what are the 100x opportunities that you can unlock and that you can test? And also very important, the people model. If AI takes more and more tasks, how do you do individual performance management? How are you remuneration? How is your remuneration conducted? How you ensure that your people thrive and grow in your organization? So those are the key questions along the three stages that we see at organizations at different maturity levels for AI. And let's check now a little bit more on this AI integrated organization. So on this second stage, because the end-to-end setup is the important change that these organizations need to conduct in order to get this stage right. The goal of the organization is to generate customer value. Each of the organizations worldwide want to maximize the value that they create for their customers. And a common challenge in implementing end-to-end setups that basically enable this customer value creation is that the employees bear the responsibilities for multiple functions across the entire value chain. So a broader expertise is needed of the team members, but also the complexity of the teams increases. The communication complexity, but also the knowledge complexity. And the interesting thing is now that on the one side, AI allows capturing the full potential of end-to-end setups, but also vice versa. What do I mean by this? AI enables teams and organizations to deal with the complexity of an end-to-end setup, end-to-end processes, end-to-end structures. On the other side, the full potential of AI requires an end-to-end value-based setup, organizational structure, and processes to extract the full potential. So now it's the time to rethink your organizational setup, your internal processes, really define what creates value, and set up your organization along these value creation value streams. So let's see how we do it typically at our clients. Here you see a generic example of a cross-functional setup. On the vertical line, you see cross-functional teams. Some organizations call them squad. Now, what do I mean by cross-functional teams? These teams consist of people from various departments. Could be a marketing expert sitting next to a product manager, sitting next to an IT developer. What they have in common is that as a team, they are responsible for an end-to-end process or value stream, so delivering value for the customer. Now, how this is organized in more details. In such a cross-functional setup, you typically also have chapters. A chapter is the disciplinary leadership team or disciplinary leadership, so to say the reporting line, that also sets the standards. In the example of the product managers, it could be that within the chapter, they establish a product management standard and ensure that all product managers that are deployed in the different teams adhere to the same standards and evolve together as a community. Now, these cross-functional teams could be reinforced by Gen AI agents. So the technology becomes an integral part of the cross-functional team, delivering together with the human team members value for the end customer. And how these Gen AI agents are typically deployed and developed, there is an AI agent factory. So to say, the support for those agents. They support the cross-functional teams via the agents, training, establishing, and further improvement of the agents to become better and better in their doing. And finally, you have a frontline where the first level of frontline support is done via AI. And just the second level is done through humans. So also here you can see already kind of an AI first mindset. The first level of support is AI and the second level is done by humans. And this together enforces the need to an end-to-end setup in your organization along value creation units. But this also implies a change in leadership. And Michael will talk now more about what does it need in terms of leadership and culture change to benefit from AI.
Yeah, thanks, Andreas. This is insightful. I wanted to share a bit about the different stages that you go through in terms of changing the mindset and behavior, basically the culture of an organization. And the target culture that you need to strive for an AI-enabled organization is that mistakes are seen as learning opportunities, experimentation with AI is encouraged, and AI is basically perceived as a support rather than a threat to the people. Now, if you want to do that, you need to find some measures that actually concretely support that and not only demand it of your people. There are 4 change levers that we usually like to pull, categories of measures that you need to take in order to sustainably change mindsets and behavior. Now, one is insight and motivation. You need to want to change. Capabilities and competencies are about the can part of changing, then you have role modeling and culture. So people around me behave in the new way and inspire me through their own learning process that I can transparently see. And then structures, systems, processes, the hard things in life that really support the change. Now, these four categories need to be addressed. And let's start with one example. Managers share their own learning process with regard to AI as role models in learning. So I'm not a role model because I know how it's done and everybody should just copy me, but I inspire other people to go through a learning process because I make mine transparent in quite a vulnerable way. And that's a modern leader that actually inspires people. And you need to conduct comprehensive trainings beyond AI tools. You can't just teach people how to be a good click monkey on an AI tool, but you need to teach them how to work with AI, how to prompt it right, how to think in a way that works with the AI, how to remove filters in their communication with AI that actually doesn't really use the potential of AI. The second stage, an AI integrated organization, needs a different culture. So decisions are made based on data and transparently with AI involved as a colleague in there. So what Andreas showed you on the previous slide is a lot about this integration of people into teams and really working with them with AI. So it's not just teams of people, not AI teams or factories separately only, but you need to integrate them. You need to have a collaboration that is totally cross-functional and customer-centric in nature. So not everybody communicates about everything with everybody, just without really a goal, but it's always the customer happiness in mind. And what you need to do to support that is to develop and introduce an agile operating model with an AI integration, having basically what Andreas showed you or something that works with your organization. And we're happy to help you find out what exactly that means for your organization. You need to increase the quality of the data because garbage in, garbage out, right? You know that from data. And with AI, that's even more the case. And you need to support the networking of the data. So AI is good at pattern recognition, but you need to find different sources first and think in a networked sense for that data to give AI something to play with and to find those patterns that will have the value that you can use then later. An AI first organization needs a culture where AI makes decisions largely autonomously, as I pointed out earlier. And the responsibility for the ethical use of AI needs to be deeply rooted in the remaining human workforce, and especially among the leaders that make the big decisions about where the organization should be headed. Now, here comes a regulatory part into play, but I think that governments of countries can only do so much in that direction. I think with the development of companies comes much more responsibility than already today to ethically use AI and other technologies. And actions that will help with that is to develop value-based AI guidelines and to implement them technically, basically. But you also need to offer coaching to people on dealing with reduced human influence. It's really difficult to not feel needed anymore. And people often have difficulty adapting to new needs that they can satisfy and feel needed. So they basically say, well, if I'm not needed for what I've been doing so far, then I'm completely useless and not needed. And that drives depression. And that is not good for an organization and is not good for a society. Now, the title of our talk today is AI is Only Human. Now, what does that mean for managers, how they need to lead AI? It depends on the stages, why you actually need to do this. Let's start with that question. Bad decisions are made based on bad data. You need to build a success platform for AI, just like you build a success platform for your people. You need to realize that blind automation doesn't make sense. You need to be pinpointed, and you also need to give direction in terms of ethics, because if you have an ethical bias with today's AI, then you're not going to be successful. In an AI integrated organization, there is a lot of probability of misinterpreting human intentions by the AI. It's just not smart enough yet, so you really need to lead it. AI can also only simulate emotions especially in the first two stages, to a limited extent. It can't really feel, right? And that makes a difference how decisions are made. And in an AI first organization, there is a loss of human control, right? So you need to still make the big shots. We don't want Skynex to take over the world like in the movie Terminator. So if you want to do that, you need to make sure that a potential ethical misdevelopment is prevented already. You need to give the direction. How can it actually happen? How does leadership of AI happen in the different stages? So in an AI-enabled organization, it's basically human in the loop, right? You're directly involved in decisions and you mostly make them yourself still. It's prompt engineering that you do. It's giving feedback and correcting results. Also in bigger analyses, not only in a conversation with the AI in a normal prompting. In the AI integrated organization, it's a little different. It's human over the loop. It's monitoring of automated decisions that take over more and more processes. You need to configure AI agents, how they work together, how they are integrated in the processes, how they are integrated in the organization with the humans. And that human machine cooperation and interaction is something where you need to lead both of them to really form a good team and work with each other. In an AI first organization, it's human beyond the loop, right? Designing the decision-making framework and basically then letting all the operations happen by AI. All the decisions that are made in everyday business are AI. All the interaction with customers is AI, unless you have a very physical um, uh, uh, interaction with your customers where the customers want a biological being dealing with them. Otherwise, robotics can take over even the physical work in business. And if you look at the limits of AI leadership, in the first stage is AI does not meet really the manager expectations when cross-domain creativity is required. I mean, if you probably made that experience yourself, that doesn't really work so well yet. And no personal responsibility is taken by AI because it just simply doesn't function like that yet. In an AI integrated organization, humans cannot put themselves in the AI's shoes. It's just a different way of thinking and a different speed also of acting. So AI is a black box that we don't really understand what's happening inside and why things are happening. There are trends to do explainable AI that gives you a background on what the process was based on an output that an AI gives, but that's also limited. An AI first organization, you could have AI starting to influence humans for certain goals, where humans don't really live up to their own standards. Now, that is a risk and it's also an opportunity at the same time. And rational decisions made by AI may contradict ethics, morals, and there the human touch is still needed, and leadership will be limited in that sense. Looking at the roles, how they change, in the first stage, instructors and quality inspectors is basically what humans will do. And the second stage will be team moderators and cooperation architects. And then in the third stage, it's basically ethics authority and priority setter. Now, all of these roles are present somewhat in all of the stages, but these are basically the main roles. And for AI, the roles also change. So in the beginning, it's more like an intern that does things for you. And then the second stage is more like a senior team member that already has a lot of ability and may even be better in certain things than the human members. And in the third, it's just a confident system partner that you really need to work with on full AI level. I meant eye level, but that pun also works. All right, so if you really want to get started with this, don't be overwhelmed by the mere size of AI transformation. Really start small and get going. You already reap the benefits on the first steps. They will just become bigger over time. And to make that easy for you, we have three different offers that you might want to take us up on. You can do an AI future workshop with us. And if you're still playing around with AI tools, but you don't really have a plan how to shape your AI transformation, we can develop an AI vision and a transformation roadmap together in such a workshop. Just one day, and you'll be in a different place in your plans. We can also do an executive board inspiration session with you with real aha moments for your top management, where you just build the basis to actually say, hey, AI is the true future. Now let's embark on a journey here. And we as the board are going to lead that. We don't need to know everything about this, but we know how important it is. And we're going to make our decisions according to that. And for that, we give big picture AI insights, and we'll take your board out of their comfort zone to turn that hesitation into drive, also with really courageous and interesting interactions. And you can also get a keynote on AI transformation from us to spark some discussions in your organization, also with your second leadership level, your third leadership level if you want. There is no limit to the number of potential participants. That really invites you on a journey in that keynote of AI. And you can basically take a new perspective on AI and also a bit of courage to tackle an AI transformation from that engaging AI transformation keynote, if you want. And the good news is all of that can happen with just 9,000 euros as a starter. So that should be available for most organizations, knowing that AI is a big part of their future. So we're also happy to create something that really works for you. Also a small entry package if you want. You can reach out anytime to us. Here's our contact data. And it was a pleasure talking to you about this engaging topic today.